I'm Mike Bennett. I'm the Verdo Coordinator for the New Energy Apprenticeships Mentoring Program, and it's my absolute pleasure to introduce Dr. Mark Apthorpe, who is the New South Wales Electricity Infrastructure Jobs Advocate. So thank you for joining us, Mark. Really appreciate your time. So, Mark, you were appointed to the role of Electricity Infrastructure Jobs Advocate by the then Minister for Energy, Matt Keane, in early 2022. Can you talk to your role and your responsibilities?
Certainly, yes. The role is actually set out in the Electricity Investment Act of 2020. And basically the role is to provide advice to the Minister for Energy around strategies to optimise jobs in the transition to renewables as we move away from coal-fired power stations. So basically talking about skills, training, education, incentives, basically anything that will help optimise jobs and increase the workforce in that area. It also talks about in the legislation providing advice to the Minister around the road, rail and port infrastructure to support our energy export industry when we get down the track into that area.
Well, you're really quite immersed in the various regional energy zones across New South Wales. Be curious to have you share your observations and thoughts on the New England, Central West Orana, South West, Hunter and Illawarra reses in terms of their progress and any of their nuances.
Certainly, yes, certainly. In my role, it sets out to focus on the renewable energy zones, but not just the renewable energy zones, because a lot of the renewable construction that's happening is happening outside those renewable energy zones. But each of the 5 renewable energy zones we have at this stage are all very, very different. So they'll require different actions from government and from the developers to be able to develop the resources in those areas. And then even within the renewable energy zones, there's a lot of variation. And so there'll still be a lot of work done by government to make sure each part of those areas gets the best out of this whole transition. In this, the basic things are there's the generation projects. So you've got your solar and wind are the most commonly known. You also have a lot of battery projects happening now, and you also have the pumped hydro projects. So they're the ones that will actually make the electricity. But a big part of the roadmap is also the transmission lines, and the transmission lines are there to give the new generator somebody to hook into the system, and also to link all the systems together. It's interesting with all those that construction, all that renewable energy zones, the real big lift in employment is in the construction phase, because you need a lot of people in the construction. But what a lot of people don't realise is that when that construction's finished, the number of jobs in energy will be more than we've got now with coal-fired power, except they'll be spread out. So you'll have some at that wind farm, some at that solar farm, spread through all those regions, which is actually great for actually helping all the regions with the number of jobs that will come out of it. I guess the other part is that with the different areas, the Central West Orana area is the first to get rolling, and there's a lot happening there, and their transmission construction will start probably the end of this year, early next year, and they've already got generators being built. And then it'll be further growth in the Southwest and the New England renewable energy zones, and also the Hunter and the Illawarra. And with the Hunter, we'll have the Hunter transmission project will probably start late next year. So there's a lot happening in all those different areas.
So you mentioned skills and jobs, Mark. So one of the key challenges, like most industries, the clean energy sector's challenge is going to be fundamentally sourcing enough skilled labour. So what are your thoughts on addressing this issue?
Well, I guess one of the greatest things about this transition is that it provides such a wide variety of jobs. It provides everything from the different skill levels, from labouring jobs through to technical jobs like truck driving and crane driving. It provides all the administrative jobs, and it provides a lot of degree qualified jobs. So the biggest thing is to get people to understand there are all these great opportunities with this transition, and to try and get that information out there so that people are making choices around what subjects to do at school now and what choices to make in the qualifications they might follow. So certainly that's one of the big things at the moment, to get people understanding there is this opportunity and to be moving in that direction.
Getting the good word out. So beyond the skills issue, what are some other immediate challenges that you think there are for the sector?
I guess the most immediate at the moment is the fact that there's just not a lot happening.
Yeah.
We're in that phase where it's all coming through the approvals process and the development process. So there's not a lot happening right at the moment, but it is about to ramp up. And over the next 2 years, it'll really ramp up. And then it's going to be incredibly busy for the next 5 to 7 years after that in the construction phase. So that's the biggest challenge at the moment, is trying to get people excited about it when they can't see the immediate job there right
Yeah.
at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So given that there is that planning stage through to construction and then operations, what do you consider to be the short, medium, and longer term opportunities for the industry?
Well, for employment in the industry, there are jobs out there already. Currently, we employ a lot of backpackers are employed in the renewables construction side. And so there's real opportunities for young people, if they're willing to move to regional areas, to get they're quite well-paid jobs, and you don't need any special skills generally. Often you're taught the skills needed on the job. So there's some real opportunities in the short term for young people to get involved in that industry. If anyone's considering a gap year, it would be a great thing to do in a gap year, to go and work in one of those renewables projects. In the medium term, I guess people need to be looking at what are the skills and qualifications to be able to move into that industry as it goes into its peak time. And then I guess the longer term is to be looking at what are the jobs that'll be involved in the ongoing operations and maintenance that'll be there, for the next forever, once everything's built. So I guess it's those 3 steps people need to be looking at.
So to that end, Mark, what would your message be to high school students considering careers in clean energy?
There's a boom coming, and you need to take advantage of that boom for your life. That you can actually set yourself up by being part of this. You can get the training, you can get really well-paid jobs, and you can get the skills that'll then be transitioned. You'll be able to transition the skills you get into all the many different variations that will come as we move forward after this first big rush of construction of renewables.
So for those students, where would they actually start, Mark? What would their starting point be?
Really just looking around to find the information. There is some good information. If you go to the Clean Energy Council, they have some publications that are really good. TAFE has bits and pieces, but right at the moment there's a big piece of work being done by the New South Wales government, led by Department of Education, and that will be providing a whole lot of information about what are the jobs and what are the qualifications, and there'll be programs to be able to give a lot more people understanding of how to do that. So really just be out there looking for the information, and as it comes, you'll be able to find out more.
Well, certainly some of the project proponents are putting a lot of information out there. Squadron in particular, we've had some recent dealings with. I see TAFE are putting out the micro-credentials in clean energy, so there's a lot actually happening in that space. So what renewable industry has the most opportunities, do you think, for apprentices completing their trade qualification right now?
At the moment, the biggest opportunity is in the transmission construction, because transmission constructors and transmission operators are quite used to running quite sophisticated apprenticeship training schemes. They have intakes every year. They're looking to get more people as they go into these projects. You've got the big transmission project about to kick off out in central West Arana. So there's real opportunities. It's called ACE-RES, which is the joint venture of Acciona, Cobra, and Endeavour Energy. So you've got that provides some real opportunities now, and the transmission, I guess, because it's so well established. In the generation projects, apprenticeships aren't as well established, but there's work being done to try and get more group training organisations involved. And certainly there in the solar and wind projects, you've got the electrical apprenticeships, but you've also got mechanical apprenticeships. I was talking to the leading contractor in solar farms the other day, and he said one of his biggest issue is finding mechanical apprentices to work on all the piling and earth moving equipment they got. So there's opportunities in that area, and I guess in the manufacturing side, there is the growth. You've got Energy Renaissance in the Hunter and other manufacturing, battery manufacturers, and they're looking, solar cell manufacturers are setting up, and they require skills in both electrical and mechanical. So it's across all the trades at the moment, there's opportunities in renewables.
So there's a multitude of opportunities. Now, I know your remit is specifically New South Wales, but do you have any observations you want to share on some of the other jurisdictions and how they're progressing in this space?
Yes, it's going to be a lot of competition. And so all the states are doing something. I was at a national meeting last week of the Powering Skills organisation, who oversee all the training for electrical trades. And certainly the amount of things that are happening in Queensland, Victoria and Western Australia, that was the people on my table. There was a lot happening, and so there'll be lots of opportunities. So I guess it's a bit of a challenge for each of the states to be able to keep their own people in their state and working on their projects.
Well, look, you've been fabulously generous with your time. Dr. Mark Apthorpe, the Electricity Infrastructure Jobs Advocate, can I thank you and have a great afternoon?
No worries. Thank you, Michael. Great to talk to you.